Hey friends, welcome to another edition of Scott's Garage. Today we're going to be replacing the hood on this 2007 Toyota 4Runner. We had a bunch of hail damage on the old hood, and it's actually a fairly simple process. We ordered a new one on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description box below. It's not painted, so it's in that flat black matte kind of color. And yeah, we're going to replace this old one with the new one. We're going to show you step by step how to do it right now. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is make sure all of the connections are removed from the old hood in order to pull it off. Now, a couple of the things I really want to make sure you remember are your windshield wiper fluid hose. Now, what you're most likely going to see is a little clip over here on the passenger side of the hood, and you're going to have the hoses that will be connected to it just like this. And all I did is I removed the hose there, and that frees it up from the actual hood itself. The next thing we're going to be looking at is this sealer area. This is, again, helps with heat distribution on your engine and protects against the aluminum. And you have it held in by all these little clips here. So you're going to need to remove all those clips and pull off this shield, and we're going to have to install that on the new hood. We're also going to have to grab this grill off of the front, and that's held on by a bunch of different bolts up here that we'll be removing here later in the video. And then the couple of major things that we're obviously going to be focusing on first to get this off and make our job a little bit easier with some of these other things are the hydraulic lifts, and then the 4 bolts that are going to be connecting the hood to the actual frame of the car, this little the latch system here. So there's going to be 2 bolts that are here and 2 bolts on the other side, and then there's going to be 1 bolt on top of the hydraulic on both sides that you're going to have to be removing. I'm going to be using a 12 millimeter for actually all 3 of these bolts. So let's go ahead and remove the hydraulic lift first on both sides. And again, remember, when you do this, make sure you're using 2 people, because one person is going to have to hold open the hood so this thing doesn't come crashing down. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I've removed the first hydraulic lift here, and you can see it's just a bolt with a large washer on top. Make sure that does not get lost. Again, we have somebody who's supporting the other side of the hood at this point. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and lay this down here, and we're going to remove the other one, again, with somebody holding the hood in place. Okay, here's the second one loosened and completely removed. Again, somebody is holding the hood. I just want to keep reminding you, do not take these off without your hood being supported. I'm going to lay that down right there, and we're going to start removing with a 12 millimeter socket these 4 bolts that are right here. Okay, so we've taken off the 2 top bolts on either side. I'm back over on the passenger side now, and I've loosened this bottom bolt enough where it's ready to be basically finger removed at this point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually hold the hood underneath here so it doesn't come slamming back down into the windshield once I remove this bolt. And that just gives me a little bit of room to get some leverage on it, to move it up so it's not pinched against this bracket, and then remove it with finger loosening just like that. Now this is completely free on this side, as you can see. Again, somebody is holding that. So I'm going to actually let this rest on this little plastic guard that's underneath here, and we're going to remove the last bottom bolt from the other side, the driver's side now, and again do that same thing so the hood doesn't come slamming back down into your windshield. Okay, again, I'm going to use my hand to get a little bit of leverage on this so I can remove the rest with my fingers. Okay, that bolt's out. Now the hood is actually free. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pick it up from the back here. We're going to set it down slightly and then move it over gently with my the other person on the other side. I'm going to sit it down on the ground, actually over here. And this will allow us to get that grill off the front. Okay, to pull up this heat distribution shield, basically, again, it's held in by a bunch of these little plastic clips. We've removed most of them from all the way around. These things are a little bit tricky, and once you have them up, you may need to go to someplace, some auto body shop, and get a few of these replacement. They're fairly cheap. I'll also put a link in the description box below. You can get them on Amazon. But basically what you're going to do is take one of these. These are actually tools that you can use to get inside door panels and things like that. Again, really cheap little tool. I'll put a link on Amazon for you in the description box. Basically, we're just going to take it, use it like a pry bar. You're going to get underneath here, and you're just going to give a nice little jerk up, and these things pop right out. So again, go ahead and do that all the way around, then remove it from these two clips that are on the bottom there, and basically that's how you get the shield off. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is actually remove the fluid windshield wiper hose and all the little connector points. So again, you have the hose connector that was over here on the passenger side that actually just pulls right out, depending on, again, it's kind of a push pin system, but you can easily pull that guy out of the slot that was in right there. And then we also have the hose connections. So you're gonna need to remove it from the part where it squirts out of the hood by just yanking up on the hose, and that'll remove it right out. And then to get this little guy out, basically take a pair of needle nose pliers, and you're gonna pinch on either side, and it actually will just drop right through. And you can see there's our nozzle piece right there. So we're gonna do that on the other side as well, and then we're gonna move on to our grill. Okay, so we're on to the grill now. And actually our new hood did not come with the grill, so we're gonna need to remove the old one. It's held on by a few bolts here. There's 2, 3, 4 down there, and then 4 on this side, as well as a bolt that connects the release lever on the hood. So these are actually all 10 millimeter. So I'm going to use a 10 millimeter socket down here, and then a little 10 millimeter wrench on these guys over here to remove this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and attack those, and we'll show you what it looks like once we get those off. Okay, so we've removed all of our bolts and our nuts. These guys actually come off really easy and can be finger loosened. Then you're just going to have to maneuver it a hair, and this whole thing actually simply slides out. Be careful, because these little bolts are held in just kind of by their the length version of their heads. So be very careful not to lose those while you're pulling this out. Kind of make sure they're secure. You're definitely going to need those to put the grill back onto the new hood. Okay, so now one of the other things that new hoods probably will not come with are these little bumper kind of systems to help with protection. And these little guys actually just unscrew, and there's some grooves that are in the rubber you can see that work their way down into the new hood that we'll put these on. So there's one on each side here. I'm going to unscrew this other one as well. And then after that, we'll need to remove this strip here. And actually, this is held in by a couple of little clips here you can see. Again, what I'm going to do is use my little plastic pry tool. I'm just going to get in underneath here, and you might have to use the smaller end, and just pop those guys out. Again, be careful. It really is kind of fragile plastic, and you don't want to wreck those things. All right, that is the complete removal of the hood. At this point, we're actually going to reverse all of the steps with our new hood, which is right over here. Again, I'll put a link in the description box below if you guys need to order something on Amazon. And we're just going to reverse the steps in exactly the same order. Again, make sure you have an assistant with stabilizing the hood when this goes back on. Very important. Hey friends, thanks so much for watching. Hope that was helpful. If it was, would you hit that thumbs up button for me and subscribe? We got a lot more helpful tutorial tips, tricks, all sorts of fun videos coming up real soon.